Hope you're good. This is my second tutorial in English. So if you're new to the channel MHS Tuts, let's see together how to see the content language. So you have French, mostly French content. You can see in the upright the flag. But I have decided to do because I'm not the only one who do tutorials on this channel, I've decided to explain some techniques in French and for you in English, so you can enjoy both of some knowledge and the French accent, which I think is good. I'm good at being bad at English. So I do my best for you uh, to learn you something about some questions that you can have and post on our Instagram. So I run 2 Instagram pages. I have motion designers. Maybe you will know that's a page with a lot of featured artists. And I have an own page with my friend Sylvain, which is a beautiful name in French, Sylvain. And we post some works, some personal works, mostly personal and not professional. But sometimes I explain some how to do some images. So today we will focus on how to achieve this kind of image. We will not do this image because this image takes hours to make the shapes, takes maybe hours to do the lighting and rendering and compositing. So I must tell you right now that we just will focus on some techniques to do shapes. So we will use After Effects, but for this image I was using Illustrator was used, but I need to show you new things. So today I will use After Effects with Trapcode EcoSpace and some effects, and then we will go in C4D and use a plugin called Vectorizer Professional. It's a plugin that can put black and white images into vectorized image, and then we can extrude without have to go in Illustrator. So I hope you will enjoy this tutorial. Don't be sad because we will not recreate this image. We will just create a very simple shape. But we will cover all the techniques I used for this image. So how to have this shape, so to make this shape, so to have the glow, how to have this kind of look, etc, etc. So the first thing is go to After Effects just after I've subscribed to the channel, which is very important if you want to tell your friends that you know a French guy who do tutorials with a very bad English accent and bad content. So let's go in After Effects, and maybe you will be a bit disappointed because I have a French interface, but we have the same letters in French and in English, so I will try as much as possible to translate for you, and I hope you are happy that I'm translating all that. So the first thing we will do is hit Control and N to do a new composition. So you will choose the scale. So for the scale I will choose a big image, because the bigger is, the more precision you will have into the plugin vectorizer. So I will choose 8000, because it's more easy to me to say that rather than 8000. And I will choose 001, because wow, we're just doing one image and not a video. So we must tell that very nice After Effects CC 2015 that do not catch all this, because I'm just doing one image. So the first thing we must understand is that we are going to do a black and white image, and all the whites will be shapes and can be extruded in C4D. So you have a lot of creation to do. I encourage you to create what you want. Take image on Google, create your shapes. So I will just create very simple shapes, just to show you Trapcode EcoSpace and some tips, and because to create the image I posted into our Instagram, it takes hours, and we just have minutes. And I think what is important is to know how to do it and then do it. That's for me a better way to learn, rather than just what is doing, okay, and just copy. That's my point of view. Maybe you have different point of view, but in France we are in democracy, maybe, and we can discuss if you want in the comment. So let's create shapes. I will use, for example, a simple rectangle shape with disabled, don't know the English word, the fond, background, and I will use, don't know the English word for contour, and put 50 pixel. So when I create little shapes like this, it do a little shape like this. So that's nice, and we want to replicate this shape. So we have the amazing Trapcode EcoSpace plugin, which is nice. One thing I like to do is to put my anchor point in the center of my square. So I will do Control, Alt and Home to put my anchor point here. Then I will duplicate this shape. So I will hit Setup and choose my number of instances. So I will take, for example, 8 instances. And then I will click repeat. It will create a lot of shapes with controls nulls, and then in repeater I can do offsets, which is nice, and then I can rotate it. I can sorry, this didn't do anything, and two, because sometimes we need to be in 3D space, so we can scale. We have many things to do, and we will use an effect. I used an effect called polar coordinate in English, you know, and in French it's coordonnées polaires. And when you choose rectangle to polar and put 100, you have cool shapes that you know, cool shapes that's here. So that's the process I used to create my images. And what you can do is maybe clean that, add maybe more repeats, have a better offset, and then we have more of a circle. And then what you need is to create shapes like that. You can use the simple pen and like draw shapes like that. If you want to have nice shapes, you can use the rules. So I put a rule here, I put a rule here, I go back here, and then I can snap it. So this is nice. I made this on my effect, so that's not the good way. I was thinking of making it in a shape layer to have this kind of shape, and then you must create things like we created that looks like, wait a second, because the process is long and was created into Illustrator. I will show you create a lot of shapes and then have an image like that. So you can see you have shapes and other shapes. So you need to zoom, add other shapes, add shapes, duplicate layers, add more layers, and do everything with polar coordinates. So for example, I will just do another rectangle, maybe more like that. Sorry, I will create on a new layer, and then I will put it here, and then I can use again EcoSpace. So let's go for EcoSpace. Let's have 20 instances. Let's repeat. Let's do something more longer. And then what is cool is that you can pre-comp all this and to have something more clean. Then we have a cool shape, cool base shape. We have holes here, so we need to adjust here. And when I create image like that, I go from here to here. But here I'm just showing the tips, not the how. I'm just showing how to create this image, not how to create how, not doing the. And you have other techniques like choosing ellipse. Don't know if it's same in English. Let's do on a new shape layer, and then this, and then I can create another, and then I can if I want create another here, and then on this one I can have large, don't know the English word, and go into this and have don't know the English word too, and have for example 100, and then create different shapes to achieve different looks. So you need to create, to improve, to do connections, and create different shapes like that, and then put it, and then use a lot of stuff. So we will stop here because I just showed tips about polar coordinates and basic shapes. What is cool is to create shapes inside of shapes to have different values of black and white. So you really need to take hours to have great results. That's for me better. And do the whole 8K image, but because the more resolution you will have, the more cool the image will be. So next step is to record our image. I recorded at PNG without any alpha to have a black and white image. So the shape is very simple, but I just need to tell you that's just for the learning. Then I will open up my C4D and we will see how to use the Vectorizer Pro, which is a C4D tools tool, and cool plugin, which is not free but which is nice. And seriously, my C4D is very long to launch. Maybe that's because that's the French version of C4D. That's only happening when you're doing a tutorial in English, because the French one don't have problems. So that's just for you. And then I will launch and wait and wait, and after you stop waiting, you have C4D opened. Congratulations. So I will hit Shift C and type in Vectorizer Professional. Vectorizer Professional is the same tool that you have in vectorization, which is shit. Yes, that's a bad word, but French love bad words. So I will use Vectorizer. I used Vectorizer Professional to achieve this this image. And so in color input you have to put your image. So you can put a very complex shape like this one. And this is very cool, but here you are on the French tutorial, so you just will have this. But this is cool too. As you see, my resolution is not so high, so you have to tweak tolerance and tweak spike removal and tweak a lot of parameters to have a better look. This image is too tiny. I recommend you to use 8K. In here I was very small. For me, you need to have greater stuff to have something more with less problems. So then you will have two options. You can put that in extrude, and as you see, that's an extrude, or you can directly go in output and choose polygon and extrude it by yourself. That's two solutions. In spline, that's cool. You can put it here. You can add I don't know the word. So make the shape look like you want. And when you have this, you need to set up your scene. So I delete the func tag to have angles, and then I created a plane, and then I start creating and adding elements. So maybe this that you put in the center, and adding some torus like this, and like this, and just put here, and just put another one that is here. I will keep the same length of the border, and then you can put different things. What I've done here is for the central shape I used the cloner object that you have in MoGraph cloner. So I put this, and in my torus I use decoupe, and then I just add some B rotation, no, H rotation, and to have some cool stuff. So that's now you just need to create the image you like. I will not spend more time because it's just tweaking, adding parameters and some stuff. So I will now do a render, and then we can go in After Effects to where I will show you what I used. So here I will use Octane render, so I will use a little window here, and I will start rendering. So I will light my scene with Nash Array by Grayscale Gorilla. That's the museum lobby one, which is making a cool light setup. And I will create simple materials like glossies material, Octane material, and click glossy, and then I put glossy everywhere, here and here. And then what I've done is duplicate this, have this in diffuse, and put an emission. I put the black body emission, power of 1, blue color, and put this here and here. So this will make to have this. Maybe we need to create two different materials because this one is longer, so not having the same power. So I will go here, and for this one I will just add power like 1.5 maybe, to try to have the same color, and add elements, you know, to this. What makes the difference is just I spend more time on shapes, and then when you have the image we need to have multi-paces to do great compositing in After Effects. So I will do kernel settings and then multi-pace settings. So here I put GI diffuse. I will put this value 5.4. Not. I will use normally up values here, but I'm doing some render, and so I will not crash my computer. So now I need to add a quick stuff in render paces. I will do PSD 16. I will tutorial English in school, and just click emitters and click AO, and then I will save my image. And then I do my render, and when I have finished my render, we just go together in After Effects. So see you right now. So our great render is over. This is the Toon version of our render, and we will go back in After Effects, create a new project, so I can import my renders. So here I can import this great picture, which was made with the technique I'm showing you right now. But I will import our render because it's more funny. So let's import this here. Let's do that very HD one, and let's import our multipaces. And I will just show you what I do to make my image, what they look, so post-production stuff. So what this is just showing the tips I use. So here I take emitters and ambient occlusion. I put ambient occlusion in product, multiply with a small amount of opacity, just to have more shadows. Maybe 10 is good. And emitters in screen with 32-bit per channel, and I use glow. In French it's called lueur diffuse, to have a cool glow look. And then I can add some optical flares, like optical flares. I just use simple optical flares in a screen mode 2. Right now in the center I can take the same tint. So that's a greenish blue, like that. And then I use plugins like Magic Bullet Looks. I often use a preset called Cat Eye, which is nice, and I reduce it a bit, like 60, and then I add my own curves, just growing up a bit the blacks, the deep black. I just put back the mid blacks and up a bit white, and then I just scale up the blue shadows and down the blue highlights. Just add more, just a bit more depth of our image. I use this preset on this image, I use this preset on this image, so most of my white looking image, like this one too, was used with this preset. Of course, for the other pictures I used other techniques, but for this kind it looks cool. So that's a work in progress, that's not finished work, but I think it will be cool at the end. So let's go back in After Effects, and what I use often too is add some light leaks. So I go in my image, and I have some tools. I just put some light leaks, which are big, and my render is tiny. And then I go into screen mode, and this kind of cool look. And I love to use into looks the edge softness. I grow up the quality and the blur size, and this add some blur on the edges, which is nice. I love to add some vignetting. On every of my pictures there is a deep vignetting. This one is very, very strong. I have vignetting here too. This one very strong vignetting, so I always add vignettes. I love to use sapphire vignetting because I think it's nice. I often use a value of 1.1, and I love to do some texture vignetting with a small texture, like pictures like that or like that. So I just take a grunge image like here. I go here, for example, just do this, just do invert on the mask and just feather it, and it will add some texture to your image, and then you can imagine how to add a lot of more details. I add to another effect which is cool on these pictures to have more of a toony look. I used these effects too on, for example, the wolf, my mountains, these mountains too, these mountains. It gives the look of I used here it too. It gives the look of more toony stuff, which show up the edges. So I use Toonit by Universe Red Giant. So here you have Toonit, and you see it add some cool edges. So I like graphic novel preset, and then I go in the blend opacity and sometimes add 20 or 10, and I found that it had this very, very nice looking to my image, which show better the edges, and it's more like it's not really CG. It's not really 3D image for the first time, and it's more difficult for people to, oh, this was done with Octane render, oh, this was that's tips I used on most of my image, and many artists have their own kind of stuff. For example, in this image I don't have used it, so that's just how you like to use it, and I think this had some cool stuff. So here you have all the tips I used. You know everything about the making of this image. I just spend more time in modeling, spend more time in the scene, spend more time in choosing the materials, spend more time in choosing a camera angle, spend more time into compositing, but you have all the keys in your hand to do great pictures. I hope you guys enjoyed a lot this tutorial. It's so sorry to it's hard for me to do it, but I try to do my best because I'm not very strong at English, but I had a lot of requests of please English tutorials, English tutorials, English tutorials, and so I decided to make it. I have absolutely no point of view on my own tutorial, so I don't know if they are good or not, if you understand what I'm saying or not. So let me in the comment if you think this is good or not, because English is like complicated for me. I understand English when it's in softwares, but I never, except sometimes speak English, I write it. So let me know. You can go into Facebook if you have Facebook, and go into motion designers community, which is mostly a French community, but you have English posts and cool posts. So post your pictures here, but please leave message. Just don't post the picture. This is a community, not a crappy place where you drop down your image. So if you go here, I hope you enjoy and share tips, etc., etc. You can go on who page Sylvain Favre et Maxime Accarn, which is our Facebook page. Facebook is like a dead social media, like you have a lot of people seeing your image, and just people show the stats. You don't want to show you the states, but that's by far more crappy than Instagram, so that's why we are in Instagram, because great community, we have great hashtags. Go in Octane render and you have a lot of cool artists doing Octane renders, and that's why I prefer Instagram. You have our Instagram motion designers, where I share a lot of artists if you use the hashtag MD community. And wow, la sauce de banane. And you can go onto our channel and subscribe if you liked this tutorial. We have a lot of French tutorials, but English tutorials are coming, because I know you will enjoy it, because I have so much great tips I shared in French. Some tips I shared I have not seen on YouTube, even in English. So I hope by making these new tutorials I can elevate some spirits and make some people happy to do some CG. So goodbye, hope again you enjoy it, and see you next time for an amazing English-French tutorial. See you guys.